Now, in the next 60 to 90 minutes, we want to change perspectives and move on to the new opportunities for ship owners and investors in terms of projects, new buildings or second-hand purchases, and also the opportunities to raise capital for these projects. So the question is, will they perhaps bring a more sharp-sighted, a more rational approach to ship investing with their fondness for analytical models and analytical processes? Will they be wiser than the traditional ship owners who have been blamed of behaving like lemmings and overbuilding the shipping markets much too quickly? Dr. Jürgen Sorgenfrey, Director Consulting Services at IHS Global Insight in Frankfurt, will discuss this aspect in more detail in the first presentation.
And we don't talk about the business today, we talk about the business the next 3 years, 5 years, even 10 or 20 years. So there is a need from an investor's point of view to look to the future. And this is necessary to understand. And if we talk about 2015, EK-CK regulations, it's definitely not that far away. It's quite ahead of us. So I think we have to talk about these scenarios as well. Last but not least, vessel investment from our side needs market foresight. So we have to look to selected markets. We spoke about containers, we spoke about tankers, we spoke about bulkers. We have to add, do we talk about the bulker from Australia to China, or do we concentrate about the smaller business along the South American coastline? Different markets. I think we have to keep this in mind. And if we come to an investment, we need to add all this information. It is possible. Nevertheless, what we need is an economic analysis for global markets, world trade, including forecasts, and this one also for selected markets. Not just say global trade will grow 5%. This is why we expect 5% for our trade. This is not the case. This is very often not the case. So we have to dig very much deeper, look into selective markets, and make use of this data. Not just saying all the data is available. No, we make use of it to validate the potential investment. You may name the cherry picking, that's right. But nevertheless, why shall we not pick the cherries if they are on the market? So the opportunity is sometimes just ahead of us. We try to pick out the cherries and try to find an investment scenario.
Now Mr. Fang will give us some insight into the development of the bank's shipping leasing business and the China financial leasing industry at large.
The asset portfolio contains more than 130 ships, including container, bulk, chemical tank, engineering ship, cruise, barge, and so on. And in this year, you may already know that we have reached several deals with Europe high credit client with a contract amount near more than $1 billion this year. And the Chinese leasing companies will improve their knowledge in shipping finance and the level of internationalization. But due to lack of know-how in international shipping finance, we will move to international market step by step, consciously and absolutely not aggressive. And so far, it's still too early to say Chinese shipping financing can play a significant role in the global shipping market.
Okay, so it seems that there's new money pouring into shipping from all sides now. Public equity in New York, private equity, debt capital markets are keen on investing in shipping. So are we now in a perfect world again for ship owners who want to launch new projects? Mr. Bünte?
I don't think so, that we are back in a perfect world, and the circumstances and developments are very difficult. I would very much agree to what Jens said. Shipping is very volatile, and so it's hard to attract investors into shipping. I mean, this is what we experience also during our bond session, our bond issuing, which we did in springtime this year and summertime this year, that you have to argue very much against the situation and the development in shipping. in order to attract funds to this industry.
What the difference is that a lot of these people are looking to have co-investments with families. So I think that is probably what helped us with a couple of projects that we were able to invest alongside with the investors. But I think in general, the market is still very, very complicated, and it's not that you go out to Switzerland or the US and people are pouring money at you. Especially, I think there's a lot of people looking rather at second-hand vessels, restructuring. So if you typically go to the US, a lot of people still think that they can come to Germany and talk to a couple of banks and get some restructuring deals out of that. So I think the way we look at shipping and the way the project we try to achieve was more having new build contracts together with investors, and I think that is still much more difficult than getting resales.
I mean, we started fundraising from the mid-2000s, and I can tell you that it's very difficult to raise money because the family houses, the pension houses, they are very clever people. They have so many things they can invest in. Shipping is not the only game in town, far from it. And in some cases, it takes years and years and years of constantly going to New York, teaching over and over again, isn't it? And sometimes being asked the same question 10 times, sometimes within 2 days, by the same person. And it's very difficult. And so this view that there's this huge wall of money just waiting to pour into shipping, in theory, yes, but in reality, this is clever money and this is fast money.
Yeah, you've got a partner in Germany. I think about 1.5 years ago, you invested in a number of tankers of Hartmann Group. I think that was widely reported in the press.
I must say, and we have another partner now as well, but we've been very privileged and very lucky, especially to have found Hartmann as a partner. We really are very, very lucky. Very, very good people to work with, and hopefully we haven't been too much of a disaster for them as well.
So there's something in it for both parties in this case.
We hope so. We hope so. I mean, because we only do shipping, we're not here just when there are opportunities and everyone thinks it's distress, but we have to go through the entire cycle, and we want to try and do more business and not just do one deal and that's it with each partner.
The availability of financing, as we just learned from our speaker before, is causing nothing else than another inflation in supply. And the supply side will destroy pricing, will destroy return. In the shipping business, there's absolutely no shortage of equity. There's generally an excess of equity. And now combining the excess of equity with the availability or easier availability of financing will only generate one thing. It will generate the creation of the continuation of the existence of overcapacity.
The problem with the German shipping market is not just the economic shipping crisis we have here. The main problem we are facing is that we have a structural crisis in German shipping. And this concerns me more because that is bringing us away from investing in a lot of companies, because the money is there, as you said. It is not a problem to come up with the money, but the prerequisites for the most of the companies are unfortunately not there yet. The markets will come back, as Mr. Ebel also once said, and the new normal, by the way, from Maersk does not mean that the markets will stay like that. That was just an approach to their customers under that title. So also Maersk knows that the markets will come back, but we are wasting time here, and the rest of the world will not wait until German ship owners have decided for radical changes.
If you now want to attract new investors coming into this market, then you have to ask yourself, okay, and these new investors, I'm looking for pension funds, insurance companies, so how do they invest? They invest normally passively, more passively. They're looking at benchmarks, and they will say, okay, how big is the shipping market? Yeah, if you simply go to these investors and tell them, look, okay, I do my business at a lower cost base and so on. I think that's not enough. I mean, you have also to offer something where these investors, as we have learned in the former panel, can invest big chunks of money, 500 million or maybe 750 million, so that they really can invest something that is serious and that has an impact on their balance sheet.
Do you already get a lot of inquiry from this part of the world? Do you see ship operators, liner operators also from Germany approaching you? Or?
Yes, we must to say this year we finished this year has very good influence, I think so. So now we do receive many inquiries from everywhere, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It is very important to pick out exactly these niches, but it's even more important that ship owners here in Germany understand that they have to consolidate and that they have to be fast, because time is running out, and we have to have we have to solve this in a sustainable way. Otherwise, and the cyclical money will be anyhow gone, and to make yourself fit for the capital market, which is necessary, will be too late in 2 years' time. And therefore, it is more important to do the homework right now, because there's so many good shipping companies around here. There's such a good expertise in this country. But what we are doing right now is that we're falling on the back like a beetle and letting other people do our business. And if we continue to do that, and if we do not radically change, then we will go down in 10 years' time from today's, whatever, 3,800 vessels in Germany to 1,200 maybe, or even less. And we should not allow this, and we should do something. And if we have to jump over a gap of 2 meters, it is not good enough to jump 1.60 meters.
When shipping comes, when markets recover, shipping is a cash-generating business big time. It generates a lot of returns, free cash flow, amortizations, and so on, and then you can get these outside returns. Will this market return to these levels? We don't know. No.
Unfortunately, we were only able to scratch the surface of this really vast subject of new funding options. But I'm sure, this is set to be another big subject, certainly at the HANSA-Forum next year, and it will certainly continue to feature very high on the agenda of most German shipping companies that want to map out a long-term future in the market. I thank you all for coming and for sharing your valuable insights.